Yuri Dumarang, Awa Baladu, Yuanadi James Ingram, Ranganaran Jera, Radri Norman. Today I welcome you to the 13th anniversary of the Kevin Rudd Prime Minister of Australia apology to First Nation people who were part of the stolen generation. And both my grandmothers were part of that system that took them away from their families. I only was able to speak to one grandmother about what had happened to her, and it wasn't good and it wasn't nice. So it's easy for me to reflect about the hurt and the sorrow that came with that. And it was quite outstanding when Prime Minister Rudd did formally apologise. If not for the work of people like Isabel Reid, who has fought for compensation and justice for our people, and it's very difficult to understand the hurt and the pain. Isabel has a brother that still hasn't returned home. We can go on and further enhance the things that we do in our communities and make a better way forward. And in saying that, I welcome you to the National Apology Day today. Welcome.
Thank you, Uncle James Ingram, for your welcome to country. I too would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Wiradjuri people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend my respects to all Wiradjuri and First Nations people in Wagga Wagga. On behalf of the City of Wagga Wagga, I extend a warm welcome to everyone watching. My name is Councillor Greg Conkey, and as Mayor of Wagga Wagga, it is my honour to take part in this online commemoration of the 13th anniversary of the Australian Government's apology to the Stolen Generations survivors. On behalf of the nation that day, Kevin Rudd, then Prime Minister, apologised to the nation for the forcible removal of First Nations children, for the profound trauma, loss of families, grieving communities and culture. We know that loss cannot be made up, but we can make sure that it never happens again, and we can make sure that we never forget. The apology was a landmark moment in our history. The power of that moment, the words and the sentiments are enduring. It is the very reason we are remembering. The delivery of the apology has been an important step towards healing. A deep ongoing commitment across the nation to ensure that the profound sorrow expressed on that day leads to an honest understanding and a brighter future. The City of Wagga Wagga is wholeheartedly committed to our Wiradjuri and First Nations communities and sees key events such as the anniversary of the National Apology as integral to strengthening the bonds between the Wiradjuri and First Nations people and to the wider community. It is only through respecting and supporting each other can we better understand the loss of children torn away from their families, culture and their communities, why we had to say sorry, why we were sorry then, and why the healing continues now. By working together, we will continue to move forward as a strong and thriving community. Thank you.
Yuri Dumarang, UND Gail Manderson, Nadi Wiradjuri, Muyalong Wagga Wagga Dee. I just said g'day, my name's Gail Manderson and I'm a Wiradjuri elder from Wagga Wagga. I was born on the 17th of April 1952 in the Wagga Base Hospital. My birth name was Colleen Wilma West and my birth mother was Dorothy May West, and she came from Oberon. I found out I was adopted when I was about 8. When
suffering and hurt of these stolen generations.
I was at the council chambers in their meeting room. The elders were all invited, and at that stage I was part of the elders. I knew nothing about stolen gen until I met Auntie Isabel Reid, and she explained it to me, and we were sitting there watching it, and a lot of us were crying and a lot had tears, and it was just so overwhelming. I think it was very important. A lot of people let their emotions out and it did have some healing, but there is a very long way to go as yet. There is so much more to be done with our stolen generation. And a part of that is there is no records of children and babies that were adopted.
I cross that mission line anymore. Please speak a word, oh, I'm breaking your law. So we just sit side by side in a shake counting time till we can walk over that mission line, till we can walk over that mission line.